It's time to speak with the one, the only Matthew Archbold. Good morning, Matthew. We're going to delve into your mind, if you don't mind.
Like uninvited guests.
I like it. We're going to speak to some of the best people in the business. But here's Matt Archbold first.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was meant for Teresa Tomeo joining us at 8:38. So, but Matthew first. Hey, I want to say this. I looked back into the history of broadcast, went back to 1962, and discovered that what the broadcast media was talking about after the assassination of President Kennedy were the love letters that Oswald had written to his lovely wife. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. This is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Oh my!
I gotta be honest. You know, when I watch a movie like Psycho, I find the way Norman Bates treated his mother after her death very, very touching. Didn't you?
Yes. Yikes.
Or how about the way Ted Bundy talked about his food?
Yeah, right.
Didn't you find that very
My
touching?
goodness, right?
This is
insanity.
Yeah. I always wonder, well, where did they come up with this? I mean, like they said, he was, it was so touching because he was protecting his boyfriend, and I'm thinking, and then the FBI comes out and said, we didn't see any of that in the, in the text messages, that he never said he was protecting, this person. So how do you read all that, Matthew?
It's crazy. And now the Screen Actors Guild just put out So you heard Jimmy Kimmel was suspended. His show was suspended because of what he said. The Screen Actors Guild just put out a thing saying democracy thrives when diverse points of view are expressed.
Yeah.
And I was just like, is that a joke?
Yeah, really?
Are you being serious about this?
No.
Yeah, weren't they the ones who led the whole cancel culture? If you defended life, if you defended Christian teaching regarding marriage and all that, you're canceled.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. They won't even put that in their movies. I mean,
But that's the thing. There's only one way to view this. See, they literally can't view a Christian as a non-oppressor.
Right.
They can't see them as, not an avatar of the evil patriarchy or something like that. They have to be the oppressor, and that's in their mindset. That's locked in the cast. So when they see something like this go on, they have to say they're literally taking a side, saying, "But you got to admit those texts were very touching," and. No, I really, really don't. Because this is actually exactly the kind of love you get when you don't have God included in your life. Yeah. You live a life that, you're looking to fill that God-shaped hole, and you're filling it with news. You're filling it with, whatever vitriol you can. You're trying to fill it with relationships in your life, very terrestrial relationships. But without God, you're never going to fill that spot in your soul. And this is what you get when you make politics your God. When you make things of this world your God. There's a reason the first commandment is first.
Right. And you just bend the facts and you bend the truth because, again, without God, there is no objective truth. So like, some of the articles on your website, right? MSNBC wonders if Charlie Kirk was shot by supporters celebrating by shooting guns. Like, who thinks of those things? I mean, the only thing you could think of is that I'm not going for the truth. I've got an ideology here. I got to find something that fits it, right? And that's certainly the point of relativism. I got to find things that fit what I want, right?
Right. Once you replace truth with narrative, you're telling a story, and that's, then it becomes propaganda, and that's really what they're selling now. And even if you look at movies now, in movies and stories, even on television, you used to watch, and the main character would often, change. There was a character arc to the character, and they would become illuminated, by the end. There was an epiphany of something about love or something, I have to be a better father, I have to be a better person or something.
Yes.
But now you don't see that as often anymore. And that's because what they're trying to change is not the character, it's you.
I like that insight.
Yeah, and that's the difference between art and propaganda. When they're not telling a story, they're changing you.
Yeah, because Frank Capra, that's the only kind of movies he wanted to make, were movies that people would understand they could change, that they could become better. And when movies started to change, he was out. I mean, because he wouldn't do this other kind of stuff. And I like that concept that someone's still changing, but it's you. It's not the character in the film. I like that, Matthew. Good insight.
Well, and I don't know if you heard this, CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS all sent out reporters after the assassination of Charlie Kirk to see what his where fires and riots were going to happen by those who were followers of his, those who believed in his message. And guess what? They didn't happen. They didn't happen. This idea that the left is as responsible as the right is ridiculous. That Republicans react in the same way that believers, in particular, that Christians react when we don't get our way or someone is assassinated because of their beliefs, in the same way that it happens on the other side. That curtain has now been pulled asunder. You cannot make that argument any longer.
Well, and you never, and we all knew it. We knew. I mean, the second it happened, we knew there wasn't going to be riots. We knew we weren't going to be turning over cars. My back can't do it. Maybe like a Volkswagen Bug. Maybe I could turn over a Volkswagen Bug.
Let's go troop together.
That's right.
Or
a
a hybrid. Okay, I could turn over a hybrid, right? But we knew. I mean, it wasn't even a question that there was going to be something like that. But you know what happened that didn't get covered is that a number of people online have said they've returned to church because of this.
Right.
And that Charlie Kirk has inspired them to return to their faith. And, because they, once you see that guy and he had something that you don't have in your life. He had a strength, he had a calmness, he was content in who he was. And look at his life, a wonderful wife, great-looking 2 kids, and a lot of people see what he had, and, now you compare that to the other side. And the contrast is so obvious. You can see it. The difference between darkness and light is so obvious right now. And and it's not going to make us go burn down buildings. It's going to make us return to church. And I'm going to be honest with you, brother, that makes us even more dangerous.
Oh, I was just thinking that's their greatest nightmare.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
I think that's why they tried to make the shooter, kind of a right person, right? Because Christians weren't doing those kinds of things. We weren't giving them that story of violence because it's not who we are. So they had to find it somewhere else.
Well, remember the March for Life? For all those years, they never covered us once.
Yeah, right.
300,000 ninjas walking down the middle of Washington, D.C. They never saw us once.
That's right.
The blinds were closed at that point. No doubt about it.
Exactly.
Wow, you gotta check out creativeminorityReport.com. Matthew Archbold, man, it's always great to get inside your brain because you really come up with some brilliant stuff. See what I mean about having the best people surrounding you?
Yeah. Matthew, great stuff.
Greatest people and Matthew Archbold right here on Morning Offering. Thanks, Matthew. Have a great week.
Bye, Matt.
Bye.